On this episode of DC On Screen, are there two different Batmen and Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom? Plus, we catch you all the hell the way up on all the crazy cancellations and renewals from Batgirl to Harley Quinn, right after these words from our mystery sponsors. Welcome into DC On Screen, the podcast about the DC Comics multiverse on film and television. I'm your host, David C. Robertson, and this, the man who once ate 50 hard-boiled eggs in under an hour because his buddy Dragline said he couldn't, Jason Goss.
It was a rough afternoon. Was that before or after they wouldn't let me go to my mom's funeral? I think it was before.
I don't remember the order at this point.
It's been a minute.
All I know is you had to prove Wayne Rogers wrong.
Yeah. So was it? I can't remember where Taking My Shirt Off Boss was in there either, but...
Take it off there, Dragline.
Take a shirt off, boss. Take a shirt off. Take a shirt off.
Taking a drink here, boss.
Taking a drink. Take a drink.
God, I love Cool Hand Luke.
I watched it like one time. It was good. I'll never watch it again, probably, but no offense to it. But.
Oh, no. It's worth, check back every 5 or 6 years just to be, you just forget stuff.
Yeah.
How fantastic Paul Newman is. It's like your brain can't, like you remember he was good, but your brain just can't retain how damn good.
Or,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. At a certain age, though, you realize at some point people just think he was really good at making salad dressings.
Damn it.
There's an age thing in here. Like,
oh yeah, no, that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Probably a few an isolated small group of people, mind you, because it's not too popular a product. They just think that Burt Ward's famous for his dog food.
Yeah,
you know, the one that makes your dog live for 25 years. No,
I've got some friends who were in their very early 20s, and when I met them, they were like, I don't know, 18 or 19, and I'm always talking about old movies and shit, and I was talking about Paul Newman, and we were talking about Winter Soldier because Redford was in that movie, and then I started talking about Paul Newman, and they were like, "Why does that name sound familiar?" And I just kind of dropped my head, and I was like, "Salad dressing." And they're
like, "Oh, that shit is fire!"
Yeah, they're like, "Oh yeah, I know, I've never bought it because it's too expensive." But it's like, Well, I don't know what his salad dressing tastes like.
The vinaigrettes are pretty great.
But his acting's phenomenal.
But the thing he did in order to get the money to start making those dressings.
And of course, that inevitably led to a very sad discussion of me saying, "What do you mean you don't know who Phil Hartman is?"
Oh, you should emotionally brace yourself for that in general.
Oh, I know. I always do, but it always hurts.
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway. All right, so we've not been on the show we haven't done the show in over a month, I think.
Yeah, I think it really has been 5 weeks. It was going to be a solid 3, I think, was where it's been. I've lost track of the timeline. It was going to be 3 because we already knew we were going to have a long one, like a long in between stretch, and then was it I got sick and then you got sick, or
I think you got sick and then I got sick twice.
No, that's right.
And then there was something else. There was something else in there that
one of the weekends you were sick, I was like, you know what? This was not, like, I was barely going to get this done anyway. So I feel you. Let's just regroup next weekend. And then you're like, next week you're like, yeah, I'm still sick.
My internet went out as well one time.
Oh yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, that was just like hey, my internet's not staying on for more than like 5 minutes at a time. Yeah.
See, it would, even if I like did the hosting honors on that one and did most of the talking. It would, had we done that, it still would have been you sick chiming in over like a phone call that we recorded.
Yeah.
No, let's spare everybody that. Just have a long time.
So I apologize to everyone who's been like, "Where the hell have you guys been?" Because I know there's a few of you definitely who've been messaging us and saying like, "We need a new DC on screen." But here's the thing though about that, shit went down, but it was actually good to have some breathing room, I feel.
That part I didn't mind because it allowed some dust to settle.
Emotions were running high, and by that I mean y'all's emotions were running high. And I don't think what y'all wanted to hear was me going,
Wouldn't have been right in the moment anyway.
guys
that
weren't
will be a
ready to
spoiler
hear
alert
me
thing.
say
For,
I don't give a
talking
shit.
about a lot of these cancellations. I do apologize in advance that we're not about to like get uppity and start clipping the microphones, yelling about things.
No,
That's not what's in me today.
nah.
I'm very much in more of a wait and see holding pattern kind of thing, rather than I have not. I just haven't had. I just haven't been roused yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like learned helplessness, though. Where I'm just like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, what now? Oh yeah, all right, yeah, sure. Oh, and all the movies cost $100 a seat now. Gosh, sounds right. Sounds right.
So it sounds like I will be waiting for streaming.
Oh, and part of the contract to stream HBO Max going forward until it's HBO Discovery or whatever is sending in your right pinky toe as collateral that you will keep the contract for the whole year. Comes with a free Batman knife.
And meanwhile, Alan Horn is sitting there like Walter in The Big Lebowski going, fucking amateurs. They sent a toe. I can get you a toe by 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
You don't want to know the ways, dude. I can get you a toe.
Something more descriptive. Yeah, you're right. Send me your right eyeball.
Well,
some of the content I'm trying to buy is in 3D. No, it's a bitch, ain't it? Send me the right eyeball.
In 3D. Yeah, so quick thank you to all the patrons for sticking with us. I am in the process of getting together a Sandman, the comic book review with Scott from DC Squadcast. I think that might be really fun. And I guess we've just been busy. I've been sick too. So if you hear me coughing, I apologize.
Yeah.
But I can't help it.
Yeah. Your voice 2 weeks ago in particular was just absolute shite.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It was just...
Yeah, it was a choking sound.
Yeah. Well, there was 2 different sicknesses. Like right now, this is like an upper respiratory like sinus infection thing that I have right now. Mm-hmm. But like 2 weeks ago, the first time I was like, dude, I'm sick. I can't even talk. That was just like some other kind of like allergic reaction that I just woke up having, where like my uvula was swollen, which is a thing that has happened to me every, like probably once or twice a year since I was a kid. I think the first time I remember it was like in a hotel room, and it usually happens in hotel rooms because it's just like foreign particles that I'm breathing in that my body doesn't like. But I just woke up and my uvula was like choking me. So I was just like, okay.
I didn't even know that was a thing until a few months ago when I was sick and I like coughed and something was sitting on the back of my tongue. That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like your soft palate swells and the uvula goes down your throat. It's ugh.
It's rough.
It
sucks. You really did like the sound. I have sleep paralysis occasionally, and like I think I'm screaming, but I've been told the sound I'm actually making is like it's just nothing. So yeah, that's what you sounded like.
I also sound a little bit like I was gargling. It's like,
yeah, rusty nails.
Right. Yeah. It's like a.
What you been drinking there? Just sipping on some hot Drano. Why?
Oh God.
Why do you ask?
It's like a turkey that had a trach job.
Performed by another turkey.
Mm-hmm. All right, but yeah, so and I do still plan on putting some of my DC artwork up for free download in full resolution on our Patreon. I just haven't done it because I'm a piece of shit. Alrighty, but thank you, patrons. Let's get to this news.
After 5 weeks, and now 5 weeks and 10 minutes, I suppose we should move.
Yeah, and I'll try to blast through some of this stuff because some of it's really old now. Mm-hmm. But we haven't actually done a show like July 28th. They brought in Alan Horn, which was a big deal.
Mm-hmm. The Disney fame, Alan Horn.
Yeah, but before that, he worked at Warner Brothers, and he's a big Zack Snyder fan. Of course, I don't know if that helps us or hurts us here. He's in a consulting role, And I swear when it happened, Snyder fans said that, they claimed they were eating good. And I was like, oh, well, it was like Alan Horn, and then the same day, Jason Momoa posted Ben Affleck on Aquaman too. And I was just like, holy shit, what is happening?
That was a good day.
That was a good day.
And then, ...
And then, ... as is always the way with WBD. And by the way, I'm trying to just be somewhat objective here. Like, when I refer to Snyder fans like that, I'm not necessarily saying I wasn't involved in some way, because I do love Zack Snyder and absolutely want to see him come back and do his movies. I also want other things to happen.
Yeah. So, and there were, even if the ball's back in his court, or at least things are lined up in his favor, it doesn't 100% mean anything could happen.
Right.
And it still would be a timely matter. I mean, he's going to be on Netflix for a minute here. It'd be a couple of years by my count, before he could really get started on another project, if Warner Brothers, or Discovery more appropriately, got everything lined back up for him to do so. Mm-hmm. So, and that's part of why my attitude's, it's not aloof so much as like just a bit detached at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, none of this is happening tomorrow.
We don't know what's happening, though.
Yeah.
We don't have confirmation on much of anything.
Yeah.
But, it's just been like a roller coaster the last 5 weeks or so. With everybody was saying, like, SDCC, Henry Cavill's coming back. He's going to announce he's going to be Superman and a Man of Steel too. And then that didn't happen. And then, and then Jim Lee said, by the way, there's no plan for Zack Snyder or the SnyderVerse to return. We're good with what we did there. That's story's told. And then everyone kind of realized, wait, there's no Batgirl at the SDCC. Well,
news would be pending on that matter.
Yeah. And what's weird about that?
You've done the same thing a little bit, like, I'm sure we're not alone completely. When something's that roller coastery, I either tend to maybe just dip out and say, well, yeah, you know what, when y'all get this figured out, I'll come back and look at it, but let me finish. But if I'm still going to be involved in it, I just sort of detach a couple steps so that I'm not experiencing it that fully, I guess. Like,
yeah.
I'm just going to put some space between me and this emotionally as well.
Yeah. And like, whenever like I get too excited or too despondent, either way, I generally reach out to a couple of my contacts and be like, well, what are y'all hearing? What do you think? And then they usually ground me. Yeah. These days.
Yeah.
During the
no, it's been fun over the years because there have been many times where you've called me upset about something. I'm like, hold on, now, let's just walk back through this. Like, this sounds normal. That sounds relatively normal. That's a little weird, but like, it doesn't mean that. Yes. Yeah. I've talked you off the ledge a few times, but then there have been a couple times over the years and really over the last year where you've called and said like, well, I don't know about this because this sounds blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I got nothing. That sounds terrible. I'm with you.
Yeah. But then like, I would call you.
No advice that will soothe or balm this. Hey,
but there were times where like I would call you and be like, hey man, I think Snyder Cut's happening. And you're like, no, it's not. And I'd be like, eh. And then I'd call, one of my contacts and be like, okay, I need good news. Okay, it's happening. Cool. That's what I told Jason.
Yeah.
You will listen.
Yeah. That was
that's like I've got like 3 or 4 contacts where I'm just like, I need a broad range of possibilities.
There were even some of the same people that around that time would either tell me or tell me through you at that time, like, I hear you. Normally you'd be right. I'm not saying your logic's bad. I'm saying, I'm telling you, you're wrong this time. Okay. Let's wait and see.
Yep.
I did though. I fucked around and I found out.
Yeah, but so August 2nd, we get this headline from New York Post. Irredeemable Batgirl movie gets shelved by Warner Brothers despite $70 million price tag. And, they said that, look, the test audience scores were really bad and it was irredeemable and they feel like an unspeakable Batgirl is going to be irredeemable, whatever. And then, Emmerich or Emmerich WB, whatever. Whoever, not Emmerich. Zaslav.
Zaslav.
I swear to God, they're all the same to me at this point.
Yeah. Just the powers that WB.
And
roll from there. Whoever's name, insert name here. Dude in charge.
So as we know, New York Post isn't exactly the most upstanding source for information. So, but I don't think they're wrong though. I think there was I think there were test audiences that didn't like it for sure. Because but if they ran 5 tests, they're going to get at least 1 or 2 that didn't like it as much as the others, and it depends on which one you lean on or report on. Yeah. So THR come out with this Warner Brothers statement. The decision to not release Batgirl reflects our leadership's strategic shift as it relates to the DC Universe and HBO Max. Leslie Grayson is an incredibly talented actor, and this decision is not a reflection on her performance. We are incredibly grateful to the filmmakers of Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Haunt and their respective casts, and we hope to collaborate with everyone again in the near future.
Yeah.
So Batgirl's not the only thing they canceled.
And I looked at that list, and I was like, this is a list of stuff that would be like mildly interesting. I would watch if my daughter wanted to, but I'm going to find this is mostly a list, mostly, mind you, not all. 2/3 to my memory, a list of people that are movies that I was going to find for free on Prime Video in like 4 months.
Yeah.
These were not blockbusters that were being cut. I mean, Batgirl may be the exception. I forget, there was one other one on there that I was a little disappointed about, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some Looney Tunes movie, I don't know.
Okay. So during
Porky Pig and Daffy Duck teamed up on something.
I mean, why wouldn't you be disappointed?
I mean, yeah, of course that sounded my I'm just saying, it was like I didn't read the list and just weep on my phone. I was like, this is all kind of stuff that I could see not going well.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that applied to Batgirl. Calm down.
Oh, I don't care.
I know nothing about Batgirl. And frankly, a lot of it sounded great. And hell, I'm as disappointed about her performance as I am Brendan Fraser's have been canned.
Yep. And J.K. Simmons.
Oh,
and Michael Keaton.
Yeah, it's disappointing to not get to see. But you had to wonder though. I mean, is what happened as simple as they saw how fractured everything got after the Snyder anything was released? Like after they started fracturing the path of the actual DCEU, and by fracturing I mean like destroying it. Like it had no path. It was just water hitting a trail and going wherever the fuck it wanted to. After a while, it seemed like.
I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was that bad, but it was also.
It definitely wasn't a controlled like Feige-esque. Here's what we're doing.
Right.
Hire this director. You have this amount of freedom, but then this part of what you're doing, I'm prescribing, and the rest of it's up to you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was, when the most successful thing you have for a while there was a Joker one-off that no one saw coming as being a particularly profitable thing that absolutely blew everything out of the water. Like, I don't know. It was hard to predict. It was hard to plan for. There wasn't a real plan in particular from the executives, but it was loosely tied. So it's hard to say that was going to be next anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely elements of that have been a mess since,
it has needed some wrangling.
Really? Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad, they actively broke the continuity of the DCEU because Jeff Johns had to get his dirty little mitts on everything.
Agreed. And that being said, they still haven't done the air cut.
I know.
Not that I haven't learned my lesson and know it exists now, I'm sure. But they I don't know how much more of that kind of thing they're going to be willing to do if, and this is my hopeful idea, is that if there's a plan now, if Zaslav is actually sitting there thinking, all right, we're going to focus on this, this, and this. This is where we're going with it. Let's cut everything that's not contributing to that.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I don't mean cut the fat. I don't mean no, this movie wasn't good enough. Don't worry about that. No. It's more that if this isn't directly contributing to where we want to take these movies, if we don't have some blockbuster end game, I mean that both ways, in mind, then what are we even doing with that money? All right, $70 million, throw it out the fucking door. I'm not going to spend another $200 million marketing it.
Right.
Cut your losses.
And I've been called a corporate shill.
I haven't seen the paycheck yet. If it's here, bro, I've been to your house. You're hiding it real well.
Yeah.
We ain't got it like that.
And I'm just, I try to remember that at the heart of all these things, of all these, you know, the people making these decisions are just people trying their best to make a decision for whatever reason. David Zaslav, by the way, inherited $55 billion in debt when they took over when they did the merger.
With a B.
Yes, with a B. His goal is to knock it down $3 billion, basically to keep his job.
Sounds about right.
So, you know, it kills me because I see people...
that stuff matters. Like, not to be glib, but the CFO of Bed Bath & Beyond jumped off an 18-story building a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Because the stock fell too much. And he didn't have any... I don't know what the exact reason was, but the stock fell and he jumped. Like,
yeah,
whatever was going on in his head, and God bless him. I hope that... I wish that had gone differently for him, but these things do have an effect. Cutting it down $3 billion can really actually keep your job in this context. It doesn't... It's not as small as it sounds, given that being such a fraction.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you can show growth.
And, you know, we've got certain people out here who I will not name on the Twitterverse and everything saying, like, you know, oh, but this asshole won't cut his salary. Why should he? I mean, this is...
I'll give him this. On the one
this
hand,
dude has to go through.
I know. On the one hand, I want to be like, yeah, because I've got a little bit of like a, you know, Robin Hood socialist streak in me to some extent. And like, yeah, there's a little bit of me that's like, you know, but maybe if he actually contributed too. But then there's the other part of me that if I were him and you hired me at X amount to come in and fix Y problem.
Right.
And then you told me that I had to give up some of X to solve the Y problem, I would say you should have probably negotiated that into my contract. No, I'm going to take this money.
Yeah.
If it were me, I don't know. I'd do it any differently.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes me a bad person. I'm open to criticism on the matter, but
yeah. I mean, you know, look, I'm pretty damn socialist. Okay.
At this point,
I am. But at the same time, I'm still Harlan Ellison. I'm still over here going, you know, no, you pay me. I don't take a piss without getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Because I
did have a job where it was suggested one time that I actually like skip a check or two to get some numbers in the right direction. And I said, nah, that is cute. No. If these numbers can't be fixed with me here, fire me. If these numbers can be fixed, I'm going to fix them. I'm not skipping a paycheck to do so. I'm not contributing that to you.
Exactly.
I think at some point I offered that I would do it if there was interest when I got the check back.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but see, you know, and I was about to say, I know you and I both have been, you know, thoroughly screwed by employers. They want more, work harder, work longer.
Oh yeah, there's class action suits that I could have signed up for on at least 2 occasions.
Get paid less.
All over labor disputes.
So no, I'm not about to say like, you know, David Zaslav should take a pay cut when I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Again, I'm seriously open to discussion on the matter. I really am. But
I bet you anything this guy's aging faster than the president.
It's a white hair machine.
He's got every
if you're not already silver when you go into that job, you gonna be when you come out, buddy.
This guy's got every department reporting to him.
Yeah.
Because apparently he like went and did a walk and talk and figured out all these things and said, oh, okay, nobody in this company knows what the hell they're doing. Like everyone's like reporting to all these damn different silos and nothing's getting done.
Yeah. He made it a pyramid. Not a pyramid scheme, mind you. That pyramid's an actual corporate structure people use. But then he started installing his own people on the pyramid, and that's probably for the best because, you know, look, if there's one of those can we all agree as a starting point kind of things, it might be that like, all right. I don't know if what he's doing is right either. I'm dubious about many parts of it. And even my interpretation of what he's doing in some cases is just me being a bit hopeful. And there are parts of it I think that are probably outright wrong, but he's taking a swing at it. And for now, this is the guy at bat for us. So we're going to have to just hope for the best. I mean, kind of like when there's a new president and you didn't vote for him, you just have to be like, well, it's him now. So best of luck to you because we're all fucked if you fail. You know, like same kind of attitude is what I have there. And like, why not just, I don't know. If he's wrong, he's wrong, but at least he's taking a swing and he's at least trying to get something in a certain direction. And he wasn't handed I'm really not trying to be apologistic for this asshole either. He's probably a dick in real life.
Oh, yeah.
He
said the phrase is show business, not show friends.
Which is true-ish, but
it's
shitty.
True-ish, but shitty.
And a dick move.
I'm not saying he's a good guy or anything.
You feel like he's got a copy of Glengarry Glen Ross on his desk.
Like, yeah, I mean, I do though. So I mean,
well, I love Mamet. I love Mamet too. I get it. Why would you name a thing something that's that hard to say? Really, I've never gotten through saying the title of that play like on the first try. I have to slow down.
Yeah. Did you ever actually see Jay and Silent Bob Reboot?
Mm-mm.
One of the only really actually good bits of that movie was like they had Jay and Bob, like Jay's daughter and her friends get kidnapped by the KKK because they're too diverse of a group.
Of course.
And like the one bit that the you know, in every movie, Silent Bob has to say something and it changes the course of the movie.
Oh yeah, he's the Deus Ex Machina of every film.
So like he walks up and
except when Jay shut him up that one time, like that was a good bit though.
Yeah, but yeah, he walks in and he's just like he just starts. I don't know, I can't remember exactly what it was. He's like he comes in with a hood, but he starts screaming, "Put that cross down! Who are you? Fuck you! That's who I am. I'm here for Mitch and Murray," and he does the whole speech. The whole Alec Baldwin and Glengarry Glen Ross speech.
Nice.
I went from like a straight face, bored, this is a terrible movie, to just like cracking up and Bethany looking at me like, what is happening right now? And I'm like, it's Glengarry Glen Ross. He's doing Mamet.
One of those where you're like, if you understand this, you're already laughing with me, and if you don't, give me a minute and I'll run it by you.
Yeah.
I need to watch that movie again soon.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Anywho, so during the company's somewhat recent quarterly earnings call, Zaslav was asked about the cancellation of Batgirl. And Zaslav said, "Our ambition is to bring Warner's back and to produce great quality films. And as we look at the opportunities that we have broadly, DC is one of the top of the list for us. You look at Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. These are brands that are known everywhere in the world. The ability to drive those all over the world with great story is a big opportunity for us. We have done a reset. We have restructured the business. We're going to focus. There will be a team with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC. It's very similar to the structure that Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very effectively with Kevin Feige at Disney. We think that we could build a long-term, much stronger, sustainable growth business out of DC. And as part of that, we're going to focus on quality. We're not going to release any film before it's ready. We're not going to release a film to make quarter. The focus is going to be..."
That is a very specific two references in that.
I know. I know. Justice League, anybody.
Will not be fucking you over. Yeah. In this particular manner.
Mm-hmm.
You have my solemn word on that.
The focus is going to be, how do we make each of these films in general as good as possible? DC is something that we think we can make better, and we're focused on it now. We have some great DC films coming up, Black Adam, Shazam, and The Flash. We're working on all of those. We're very excited about them. We've looked hard at the direct-to-streaming business. We've seen, luckily, by having access now to all the data, how direct-to-streaming movies perform. And our conclusion is that expensive direct-to-streaming movies, in terms of how people are consuming them on the platform, how often people go there or buy it, or buy a service for it, and how it gets nourished over time, it's no comparison to what happens when you launch a film in the theaters. So this idea of expensive films going directly to streaming, we cannot find an economic case for it. We can't find an economic value for it. And so we're making a strategic shift as part of that. We've been out in the town talking about our commitment to the theatrical exhibition in the theatrical window. A number of movies will be launched with shorter windows. Some might have different kinds of marketing campaigns where we take advantage of having the biggest platform that all motion picture companies look for. But we'll always be agile. Our focus will be on theatrical. And when we bring the theatrical films to HBO Max, we find They have substantially more value. And we have an ecosystem where we can have the premier motion picture business. That's why most people moved to Hollywood. That's why most people got in this business, to be on the big screen and the lights went out. That is the magic. And the economic model is much stronger. The other thing is that we're going to focus very hard on quality. As I said, we're not going to launch a movie until it's ready. We're not going to go to a movie to make a quarter, and we're not going to put the movie out unless we believe in it. And that's it, particularly with DC, where we think we want to pivot, and we want to elevate, and we want to focus. The objective is to grow the DC brand, to grow the DC characters, but also our job is to protect the DC brand, and that's what we're going to do. So you could say that...
As disappointing as I know the next day was, because it's been a minute now, there's a lot of good stuff in that speech.
There is. It's a particular jab, like you were just saying.
Yeah, that was not disguised in any fashion.
Not really, no.
Yeah,
and it's a long speech. I didn't want to read it all.
If he had
but
just been like, fuck Suchi Heart. Sorry, I just coughed a little bit. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like,
I feel attacked because I actually have been coughing.
Just gonna cover yours up with mine. That'll make for great audio, man. This is killer stuff.
What is that? There's an episode of Modern Family where Phil is doing a real estate class, and someone insults him, and he's like, "By the way, insults from the class are to be appropriately disguised in a fake cough."
Nice.
And then someone was like, "Blame," and he's like, "Thank you, Derek."
I don't think I made it that far in that series, but that's good.
Anyway, so, and then, we've seen a lot of like these reports that came out that said they're saving upwards of $20 million by shelving Batgirl, and like that's all they're doing it for is a tax write-off. And well, yeah,
I mean, you can do some bad debt and put it in that pile, but they're saving more than that on the marketing, like I said before.
Yes, they are. Like, if you're not going to spend $100 million on marketing or whatever the hell it is.
Granted, that's theatrical, which apparently that was part of the problem
Well, it wasn't meant to be theatrical. It was always supposed to be HBO Max. So they'd have to spend even more money trying to get it into theaters and figure out the release date with all the other movies.
And then you would know more about this than I do for sure about whether this sounded like bullshit or not. But didn't they say it was shot in a way that it wouldn't really fit theatrical? Like,
yeah,
technically wouldn't fit it?
Well, one of the things that we've heard from time to time with these reports is that the movie looked like a bad TV show.
Okay, now,
and
important defining thing here. Looked like as in felt like, or looked like as in visually, cinematography-wise, it looked bad? I'm
going to guess that one. The latter. Because, that was another thing that Zaslav had said that, it would take too much money to go back in and reshoot it. Because, when they shoot cinematically, when they shoot for movies, for theater, they spend the extra money to, for the big set pieces, to get certain lighting, to get certain angles. You're not going to turn on CW and see that. You're not going to turn on even the HBO Max series and see that. Well, if you know what to look for.
That was actually something, and just to give the average person, like myself in this case, for sure, video, just, I don't know why, it goes in my head completely. Yeah, like, you'll point things out to me and I'll go, oh, that makes sense. I would never have seen it in my life. But, like, as you pointed out to me, like, the Superman and Lois show does look like closer to a movie than the average TV show, or definitely the other stuff on CW.
Yeah.
You can definitely make something have a cinematic feel, although I would not know any of those tricks, without, like, getting off that network necessarily, but it has to be done a certain way.
Well, the way Superman and Lois did it was get funded by HBO Max.
That'll help. I do know it takes more money. I don't know specifically why you have to buy whatever lens to do it, but it's old reference.
Well, certain lenses, certain lighting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can be changed, but it's like such a drastic cost difference. For TV, it's not worth it. Like, this is stuff that Superman and Lois probably don't even do, but and it's stuff that, like, you just, like, little things you, and I don't even know that much, honestly. Like, I could sit there and point out a shit ton of stuff in any movie or TV show and just be like, oh, they weren't in the same room when they shot that. Oh, this, like, oh, that's a redress of this set, because I just pay attention to shit like that.
Weirdly, there are parts like that I understand as far, like I understand blocking better than I do the cinematography. You could shrink the aspect ratio mid scene and I might not notice it.
Right.
But blocking wise, I'm like, yeah, that man was not in the same room. That part I'll get.
Yeah, but there's certain elements of it to where like a general audience will look at a movie and go, yeah, this doesn't look good. I don't know why. I just don't think it looks good. It looks like shit. And they can't tell you why. But there are like so many different reasons. So one of the things that I was thinking though, and yeah, okay, they're going to get their 20 million. They're also not going to have to market it. They're not going to have to figure out where to put it theatrically, especially since they keep, pushing back the other movies now.
Again, I assume marketing for streaming costs less than marketing for theaters. Like, you don't have to get in with McDonald's and become the Happy Meal toy.
Don't you?
Maybe you do. I haven't seen that yet, though. Has someone tried that?
What do you mean? There are lots of movies that have done Happy Meal toys.
Streaming movies?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
Not that I know. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I questioned myself when you asked me. I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe the Lord of the Rings did that recently.
But that's the whole thing is Zaslav was saying, like, he doesn't want it to go directly to HBO Max if it's got to be an expensive movie. So if they were going to make Batgirl and they were actually going to put it out, it would have to go to theater because according to the data that he looked at, it only makes sense to put them out theatrically. But if the movie does not look theatrical in any way, so I don't know. But at the same time, we're also looking at a situation where Batgirl was the first movie after The Flash. And as I understand it, Batgirl was supposed to be a merged universe situation. It was Burtonverse and SnyderVerse. Somehow together. Merged together.
Sounded exciting, but
now,
I don't know. Again, a lot of those things like that, it sounds exciting, but if no one can execute, who cares?
If that's not where they were going with it. Like, I get the feeling, especially since Jason Momoa just came out, like seriously, like a few weeks ago, with all of this Batgirl canceled, and I'm like, dude, if this is not the way they're wanting to run with the universe anymore, if they are changing the ending of The Flash, which they can absolutely do, then I'm going to say they're not going to merge the universes because test audiences are confused by it. And maybe it just doesn't fit what they want to do anymore.
That'll annoy me, because after all this time, Diane will have been right.
Maybe, but we don't know that's true.
I still think at this point it can't be, because there are like 35 fucking things I'm supposed to be watching right now.
Right. But now, here's the thing, though. I think...
I mean, early this morning I watched a version of Aquaman where he's basically... It's voiced by Will Friedle, friend of yours, and the impression is clearly, what if Matthew McConaughey was Aquaman?
Oh, gosh.
It's delightful. It was hilarious.
That is
I'm
fun.
not confused. That was their... it's the same property. It's like DC Supergirls and those crossovers. Maybe part of the Teen Titans Go crossover. I can't tell. I was watching when I could, but
yeah.
In same way, like Batman, every time he talks is... And at some point, McConaughey's Aquaman is the one who points out, like, I'm just saying, I can't understand entirely what he is saying, and I can talk to jellyfish, so I don't know how y'all doing this.
Oh, that is a great take on Batman. I haven't thought about that. You know, the like the bear, like the bear in the cartoons, like the Papa Bear who's like real short and got the hat over his face. He's like, and they're like, yeah, Paul.
Well, the bit they keep using in this one, it's one of those crossover episodes. I can't remember which one, but in the bit they keep using in this one was this might have been Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go too.
Maybe
the little girl's bouncing between a few shows, and I haven't fully gotten to sit down and watch any of them. But it's that Batman cannot be understood. He always has the... But then people repeat back to him what he said. They'll always be like, you're right, Batman. We should blah, blah, blah. And it's super articulate.
Yeah.
And then apparently there's just Aquaman in the background going, are you serious? I heard something about a sled.
Uh-huh.
So that one actually That one actually made me laugh.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good take. So, anyway,
or at some point, Batman pulls out a kryptonite. No, it is DC Supergirls. At some point, Batman pulls out a kryptonite batarang, and he's real deliberate. Like he considers it very, very thoroughly before he pulls it out. I remember the scene, and it's Supergirl, and she's been taken over by God knows what, and he's going to throw the batarang at Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
And Superman, who's been taken out in the fight, is like laying there kind of next to him, trying to recuperate. And he's like, "What do you have there?" And he's like, "It's like, what do you mean it's a batarang in case I got out of line one day?" And then as he like runs away to use it, he's like, "You have serious issues, man."
Yeah,
there's some good jokes in
there.
Yeah. As you were saying, though, back to Zaz Slash. I'm going to call him now.
Oh, well, what I was saying is, Jason Momoa has now actively said that the movie Aquaman 2 may have more than one Batman. He said more Batmans, which makes me think they are bringing, like, maybe it's going to be SnyderVerse, not what Snyder would have done necessarily, but his universe that he created. Yeah,
the fingerprint.
So I don't think Flash will now end with a merging of the universes. I think Flash will now end with Barry getting back to the normal timeline, but also Michael Keaton somehow being there with him.
Yeah.
If what he's saying is true and there's more than one Batman, we know they've already shot a Batman Michael Keaton bit for Aquaman. And when he started talking about Affleck and showing him on Instagram, and that was announced, I was like, oh shit, they really are replacing Keaton with Affleck. That's why Batgirl was canceled. But now it's looking like that's not the case either. So I don't know, this is all very interesting to me. And it's like, it went back to like, oh, I guess it was just like a quality issue with Batgirl. Like, or maybe that was a merged universe. And it was still way too, divergent. We just don't know what they're doing. That's what I'm saying.
I don't either. I mean, when is what was the new date? November, I want to say, for Black Adam now?
Oh God, I don't know. I've got it written down somewhere in these notes.
It's been pushed back a few times. I'm not sure either. I think it's still 2022, but to that end, they may.
And the thing is I haven't paid attention.
I'm thinking, I'm gonna look it up. I'm just curious now.
I haven't paid attention with Black Adam because I don't give a shit.
Oh, I'm there, but
I'll go see it. I mean, we got this show. October. We got this show to do.
Oh yeah, no, there'll be a review on that one.
There'll be a review. I just don't care.
Probably at your house.
Not yet.
But yeah,
I hate to say it that way, but I just don't.
We'll know more about that one because it'll either confirm or deny a lot of rumors about the hierarchy is going to change and who might be included and might be cameoed in helping do that. And
he's talking about pushing it back to make it better. That's fine.
Well, that's an option too. Is if that, and then apparently,
please, for the love of Christ, cut the scene where the people roll up their window to protect themselves from Black Adam. That is the stupidest joke I've seen a million times.
Yeah, I get it. But it'll be there for like 3 seconds. It'll be all right. In the course of the movie, you will not be worrying about that when the credits roll.
Oh, I will.
You don't know that. You worried about it when the trailer finished. That's it.
I absolutely know I will. If that's still in there, I'm going to be annoyed. I'm going to be like, ugh.
Oh, it'll be there. Ugh. Prepare yourself. It'll be there.
I'm preparing myself. That's why I'm not excited, Jason.
You just go ahead and come to terms with it. But yeah, I don't want to. Apparently, you move back Black Adam so that it can have, more time, if that theory's right. More time to make sure the movie's exactly where you want it to be. And in this case, you go ahead and throw in DC Superhero Pets, which is, by the way, a perfectly good movie.
Yeah, it was.
Not a goddamn thing wrong with that movie.
I mean,
but you instead sacrificed the marketing budget such that it basically flops. Some decisions have been made recently, is all I'm saying. Like, there's no way they made the money off that movie. Not with that voice cast.
It was like number one, like the first week or something, and then it just flopped to hell. Just like, bleh.
It did fine for the weekend. I mean,
yeah,
it probably made its money back in the first weekend, but because I think it made like $30 million or something. But yeah, I can see pushing that back, but I'm still, I don't know. That'll tell us more. But then it goes two ways. Like, and on the one hand, you can't you can't really logically extrapolate this. Like you can't do it this way where you say, well, this rumor, and this rumor. So now that I've seen the Black Adam and apparently October 21st of 2022, now that I've seen it and didn't include this rumor, then this must be true. No, it's not. That's not the next stop on the logic train. It means nothing. It only matters if it's confirmed, not denied. Mm-hmm. So like if you actually do see Henry Cavill show up for half a damn second, then it matters.
I don't. Have you seen the rumor that's going around about Marvel talking to Henry Cavill about playing Hyperion?
I have. I did not know who Hyperion was though off the top of my head. Maybe I've seen him somewhere, but certainly not familiar.
I mean, he's basically Marvel's Superman.
But gotcha.
Sometimes evil, sometimes good. Depends on kind of what you're looking at. I think he's usually evil though.
What side he lands on that day?
I'm pretty sure he's usually evil, but I've read too many multiverse type comics. Like I was a big fan of Exiles, and there was like a good Hyperion, and there was a bad one, and there was a But yeah, if they did if they just started like yanking up DC actors to play like their own version of oh my god, I would just be so happy with that. That would make me laugh so hard.
It would crack me up.
I mean, it would suck because we know they're not doing Justice League this year or whatever, but it would still be like, wow, God, it's a good joke. That's a good dig. And also it would be like a fantastic segue into a Marvel DC
use that
crossover.
Even if you didn't use DC, like what was the guy from The Tick? He was actually cast. He was in The Tick TV show on Prime. It sounded like Hyperion too.
I don't know. I didn't watch that.
Oh yeah, you didn't watch it because it didn't have an ending.
That's right. They canceled it too quickly.
Well, but it was still part of the Tick's like, it was part of the comics. But
I don't know. I mean, they change it so much. They change it from the comic to the animated show, and then from the animated show and the comic to the whatever it was 2000s Patrick Warburton show. I mean, they just changed the basic. They have like the archetypes, but I can't remember the names because they changed them too much.
Fair enough. Well, even then, my point was if you just grab somebody from a different property set and threw them over there, it would still be funny. Doesn't have to necessarily be Henry Cavill.
Yeah, no, it would be.
Although, like, if you did see Henry Cavill go over there and do another version of Superman in another universe that did not have the connectivity problems that this one does, for better or worse, let's go ahead and admit that Marvel has a structure. I mean, basically, most of his quarterly speech is just him trying to tell people we are going to have a structure from now on. Please bear with us. Pardon our progress,
Yeah.
So if Henry Cavill hopped over there and did that version, I would pretty much consider his Superman in the DC universe dead. Personally, I would think that would be his last joke on the way out.
Maybe. But then there'd also be a part of me that would just think like, no, Marvel just ensured that he'll play Superman again.
Maybe. And it could go that way. And that would be kind of funny. And it'd be fun to do a joke about it.
It would be hilarious if like James Gunn was the reason for all of this. Like if James Gunn was the guy's like, because he's already said he's tried to have like Marvel versus DC conversations.
If that was his way into amalgam, is like, okay, listen, let's get this over let's get Henry Cavill in this Superman as Squirrel, and then we're going to go back and do another version of Henry Cavill where he's got some actual screen time with his, God forbid, actual face in DC, and let him talk about how he's seen this other guy and mention that guy, and create this like. There's a through path there where you could like weave the universes together, and that'd be hilarious to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just saying it would be really funny if James Gunn went to Feige and was like, look, I don't know what the hell they're doing over there, but we need to give them a push.
Yeah.
They're sleeping on Cavill. How about Cavill for Hyperion? Oh my God. Yeah, I know. And then we could just be like, by the way, there's another universe over here with a version of you, but your name's Superman. Oh God. Well, and then like, Zaslav would just probably be like,
hell, even
take it out his dick, please. Yes.
Project we haven't talked about in a minute, and I don't know how much jeopardy it's in or not. I don't remember if I've heard this. Correct me. Where were we with like Michael B. Jordan's Superman, like President?
We
Superman?
Don't know. We haven't heard anything.
Well, what if that's one of the ones that quietly got axed in the background, and then what if you just grab him?
That'd be fine too. We haven't heard anything definitive. Like, we've heard that like it's put on pause. We've heard that no, it's still in development, and I mean, it's just limbo, like everything.
Yeah,
except for Batgirl, which is canceled.
Canceled with a funeral showing.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's gonna destroy everything." No, just Batgirl. Really?
That was all right. So part of why I bring this up, I forgot when I was talking about it, but part of why I brought this up earlier, that he maybe even doesn't want to have the potential out there that someone could say, no, I've got this other version, and have, release the Snyder cut and air cut.
They scrubbed it.
Yeah.
They scrubbed it from the hard drives.
Yeah.
From the servers.
Not from theirs. They scrubbed access to those servers.
Right. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like in the history of funny things that technology, servers, blah, 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 have to do with things, I think it was Toy Story 3 would not have happened, except that somebody had been working from home because they were on maternity leave and had all the files downloaded. And so they only lost like a month of work instead of the entire film, because the server itself started deleting every fucking thing. It started to delete the entire film. I want to say it was 3. It's been a while since I read that story though. But yeah, like that, they basically were about to have to do a press release that said, well, we're going to discontinue this franchise because we've already spent X amount of money on the film, and it got deleted because there was a server upgrade, and some poor guy in IT didn't notice what he was about to do, and God help him because he's never going to find a job again.
Yeah.
And instead they saved it because, yeah, like I said, I think it was somebody on maternity leave that was like at home trying to work on a few scenes and just had the whole project at her disposal. And when it all went down, she was like, actually, I do have these scenes. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
That kind of access does matter.
Oh, by the way, so yeah, the directors did say that they tried to go on the server, and they were like, shoot everything on your phone. And they went on the server and everything was gone. And they're like, we didn't even get to keep the scenes with Batman in it. But here's what they also said. So for everybody out there who's screaming, the movie is done, just release it. The directors say, the guys from Warner Brothers told us it was not a talent problem on our part or the actress or even the quality of the movie. We were right in the middle of editing. There was a lot of work to get done. So it was not like the movie was finished. So no, it's not finished. It's not finished. Shut up.
Yeah, but that's my point is, if they could still get those files and have that famous Zack Snyder laptop.
Yeah, they can.
Where, in retrospect, I'm convinced that man probably spent a few weeks of his own personal time just at home editing and...
Oh, yeah, no, more than that. He'd been tooling around with that for a long time.
Yeah. Probably spending some of his own money to have people come over and work on this thing or that. Like, I'm willing to assume that a lot of directors in this day and age can do some of the CGI tweaking they need to do, but there's also a reason they hire people to be specialists at that, because like it's its own art form. I'm just willing to assume in general that they could get it in the ballpark, but probably would prefer someone who's better than them to come by and do that, because if they could do everything, why did they hire somebody? So
yeah. But yeah, so anyway, the directors of Batgirl said that if they called them, if Marvel or DC called them, they would be there. So, and to be fair, let's also make this clear. One, it's not like they can never release it. If they get to a place of good financial standing, they could literally pay the IRS back and release it.
Well, yeah.
Two,
and effectively have delayed that debt for a certain period of time. So, yeah.
If they could take footage of it or footage from it and create a new series or a different movie and have footage from it included and save on the cost of another movie or series. Like there's a lot of little things they could do to like cut away and save and salvage some of this. It's not end all be all. We'll never see anything from it necessarily. Here was a fun little thing that happened because Batgirl got canceled. Hollywood Reporter reported that Walter Amada was reportedly on the brink of exiting the studio following the decision to shelve the Batgirl movie. He started moving toward the exit door and has gone as far as consulting with counsel. It has been said that for now, Hamada will stay in his post through late October when Black Adam hits theaters. But after that, ...
Right.
Yeah, leave, dude. Oh, poor Hamada.
I will...
They have pushed him to the brink that he pushed Ray Fisher to, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I loathe planes, I will be going to a friend's wedding in San Francisco in a couple of weeks. And, that's one of those like, hey, while I'm there. And without that, I would take a plane right now to just go over there and open the door for Armada. That's my point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was wondering where you were going.
Give him a quick pat on the ass on the way out. Like, all right, man, don't come back. Have a good one.
Yeah. So, according to reports, the Supergirl movie that's been in development forever has been shelved. Of course, that was Sasha Calle's Supergirl, who was coming out of The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I don't know. Whatever. We got no reason to... Let's see how The Flash does first. All right. Let's just see.
I think that's going to be the main point, is all of those are going to be so dependent on that one movie, which is problematic in its own right, regardless of anything else that was happening.
Yep.
And there were so many eggs in that very broken basket that...
Speaking of which...
dear God, why don't we just see how this plays out?
Speaking of which, Ezra Miller, according to the Vermont State Police, someone lodged a burglary complaint.
Start something that way. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know. Someone lodged a burglary complaint regarding a home in Stamford at the beginning of May. So this was back when Ezra was running amok in Hawaii and various other places, right around that time. So the cops investigated. There were several bottles of alcohol reported missing. And then there's surveillance videos that seems to point that Ezra was the one. So they have been charged with felony burglary into an unoccupied dwelling. And what's annoying is that, I keep seeing these, when that came out, they reported that Ezra was finally found on Sunday night. They've known where Ezra was. Like, the only people after him, quote unquote after him, was a Native American reservation, who they walked to the end of the block and they looked around and said, well, they're not here. Let's go back home. Like, and people have got in their heads like Ezra's like on this like crazy like escapade, escaping the authorities. Somehow no one could find them.
Like, they're not on the lam.
Call Ezra Mint Jelly because they're on the lam.
I'm not in any way convinced that Ezra is so clever that they could like have a multi-jurisdictional police chase and still avoid that and avoid capture, like taunting the police. Like, they're not John Dillinger, man. Like, this is not what's happening right now.
Right. So the only reason this has really come out, one, because they've had this shit since May. Yeah, and they haven't said anything about it because they want to stretch it out. The news cycles want to stretch it all out. Other thing is they just got their court date for September. So, all right, whatever. And then it was a whole big thing like, Ezra Miller reportedly participated in additional filming amid legal controversies. Yeah, Ezra worked on The Flash while there were some legal controversies. Why wouldn't they? Regularly scheduled additional photography over the summer. Well, this is only weird if you believed all that bullshit about Ezra running around with a groomed 12-year-old escaping authorities. Like, none of that shit was true.
That was overtly, like, objectively not true.
Mm-hmm.
Where it gets into the subjective part and even just the, what moral claim do you have to have an opinion here kind of thing. There's some weirdness to the stories for sure. Several of them have aspects that are worrying, but most of the aspects that are like damning have either failed to be confirmed or have been confirmed not to be true. I mean, truthfully, we're at a point where, like, if I were qualified to do so, and Ezra was like, man, I need a lawyer, I don't know why I would turn them down. I don't think there's no smoking gun for sure. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely not, like, I don't know, as many problems as are clearly present. I haven't thought this person is actually a menace to society yet. They're just a menace to whoever they happen to be around at certain times, and dear God, it may get weird. Mm-hmm. Like, my own selfish take is, Ezra, please just stay in your house just for a few months, man. Just like stay there, hang out. I'll send you pizzas occasionally.
Yeah.
Hell, you want iced coffee every morning from Starbucks? I'll hook it up.
I mean, will you do that for me? Because I'd love iced coffee every morning from Starbucks.
You can't guarantee the release of this film unfettered, so no.
No, but I can guarantee, that if I find a cheap comic book at Ollie's, I'll get it for you.
And I appreciate that. It'll cover approximately 1/15 of the cost of 1 ounce of Starbucks.
I wasn't going to bring that up. Did you see this THR thing where it was like Warner Brothers reportedly considering 3 options for Ezra Miller's Flash movie?
Yeah, I did.
And yeah, did you like listen? These are the options. Mm-hmm. The first option would see the actor try and secure some counseling and then give an interview in the future explaining their erratic behavior. After that period, Miller could do some small press for The Flash before it opens in theaters. Scenario 2 would see Warner Brothers Discovery still choose to release the film, but the star would do no press. Also, there's no way Miller could be the DC Comics hero going forward. And then, like, if the situation got any worse, they'll shelve the movie. Yes, those are the 3 options you have.
Oh, I can think of more, and they're just as obvious.
Like they're all variations of that. For instance, of those 3 options.
There's a fork in the road after that, and after 1. Like, all right, Ezra agrees to counseling, and basically, what's the word? Promises to better themselves in the public viewing. Great, okay, cool. Some like political sounding agreement that I've done you wrong. I'm gonna try to make sure you respect me in the future. It's some reputation saving bullshit. All right, fine, that's great. Well, that even goes down. Any one of those 3 options goes down 2 roads: failure or success.
Yeah.
And then, do you think there's not a flowchart beyond that? Like, no, man, come on. It's not just 3 options. Even there are other options beyond those 3. Just on the starting grounds, out of the gate. I mean, they could.
I still think at their base level, those are the 3 options they have. Like,
there's a 4th option, by the way, that, like, I don't know to what extent this would be functional or practicable, because I really don't know the details of Ezra's situations. And it could be the case that they've really actually overstepped many a times into borderline harassment, borderline aggravated assault, it would seem. Borderline sexual misconduct of some kind. Like, maybe if there's some truth to that, then maybe that's off the table. But if someone in the know knows that, knows better, well, then option 4 that no one mentioned is, what if you lean in and actually support this motherfucker? Like, really support them, not just make Ezra make a, solidarity speech about I'm going to do better, but actually lean in and say, no, this person's been in some weird situations. We're going to support them and make sure that they get the help they need, but we actually back them. I don't think they've done anything that was criminal or morally dubious. Like, I'm just saying it's on the table.
Oh, they're not going to say that. There's too much evidence.
I mean, there's too much press. I just don't know if there's a ton of evidence. There's evidence enough that I would be worried about doing that myself.
Mm-hmm. So, in a statement obtained by Variety now, Ezra says, having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues. And
they still use the word crisis, treatment. By the way. Gotta love that.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. And as per Hollywood Reporter, Miller and their agent went to meet with Warner Brothers. The film chairs, Michael DeLuca and Pam Abney, who took over for Emmerich. And we don't know anything about the meeting, but apparently it was for Miller to reaffirm their commitment to The Flash, which is currently scheduled to be released June 23rd, and apologize for the recent negative press. Yeah. So all that has happened, and I don't care if you think it's not you, Jason, but I don't care if the audience thinks it's a sincere apology. It's a PR apology. I understand that, but what the hell are they supposed to say?
Agreed. What else do you write out except that? I know it's coach speak, but
as someone who struggles with anxiety and depression, I can't always explain my behavior precisely. Why would I even try to get into it? You say complex mental health issues and you move on. Because if someone doesn't have them, they don't understand them. No, and they're not going to understand them. They're going to be like, oh, that's just some kind of woke bullshit way to say that you didn't want to do it. Okay. That's your opinion, man.
I mean, look, personally, I
don't break the law, but I mean,
what do you call it?
I get bummed out.
So the right ring finger on my hand right now, it's a bit bruised. Kind of worried it's maybe going to be fractured when the swelling goes down.
Okay.
Got some bruising on my left foot.
It's a weird turn, but I trust you to bring it back around.
Yeah. I had a stressful week on top of adjusting some of my meds down, and I was just chippy. I was angry the entire week. I was frustrated. Still frustrated. I just have a better handle on it. But I mean, I'm not gonna. These things can happen so strangely and blindside you in a way. Like I knew, even I was edging down some medications for SSRI if anyone cares, but edging down that and just to try to get in a better place and not need those in general. But I told people at work a couple times, like, I'm not myself. Don't ask me that question right now. I'm not going to give you an answer that's like, give me 5 minutes so I can actually get to the answer that I'm supposed to get you. But right now, if you ask me, I'm a little bit angry and that doesn't make sense to me. Just give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had to go through an extra step of processing just to make sure that what I was thinking was something I was actually going to be able to stand for later, because at the moment, I wasn't myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and that happens, for sure.
And the knuckle was because I punched a chair one day, because I was just really angry at a phone call.
Yeah. No, I mean, not
proud of it, but, it is what it is.
I don't punch things, but, there are definitely times where, like, my meds are off or, like, I feel a certain kind of way. And, just look, me and my wife don't fight. I'll tell you that we don't. But, there are some days where something's off and I know it's off. Like maybe I forgot to take a thing or something. And like, I'll just be pissed and like just anxious chippy. As hell.
I like the term chippy.
And,
makes sense for some reason.
And, so, but now like if I was single and, young and rich, ain't no telling what the hell I'd do. Like, you can't just like operate in a vacuum and be like, well, screw them, blah, blah, blah. Nah, you don't know these people. You don't know Ezra Miller. You don't know what Ezra Miller's gone through, what's going on in Ezra Miller's head. So, I don't know. I get aggravated with all the, bottom line, no apology is good enough bullshit.
No, I get it. It very much is a don't convict a person before there's evidence thing.
And these are people who will believe like every like headline without reading the article.
I know.
And believe other people on Twitter, and then they'll turn around and go like, "Oh, that was a shitty apology." I'm like, "That was a perfectly fine apology for what they actually did."
Yeah. And to hear even those people out, like if there's something Ezra did that they were referring to in that apology that is going to be substantive later, like something later where we're like, no, mm-hmm. I understand what you're referring to right then. Holy shit, you tried to sidestep that. Like, same way we were talking about Zaslav earlier about the whole, like, we're not going to just do it to do a quarter. There's always like specific references and things like this that if you know the context, you know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if it's one of those and in context later with a little more time for things to develop and a little proof to really make things solid, because God, God damn it. I'm still like, I'm not trying to be an apologist for anybody. Truthfully, and I really mean that. I'm not an apologist for myself. Dear God. I probably think the worst of me of anyone else walking this planet, except for a few people. They probably think worse. But I mostly fired those people. But, left a bad taste.
Or their moms.
Yeah, or their moms. I'm sure I'm the villain of a few people's stories is what I'm saying. But I generally have a very self-deprecating sense of like taking my own, actions in the world as far as like, okay, what did you really do? Did you improve anything? Was that shitty? Was that like did you think about that first for a second, you dumbass? Like, I get it. But then, yeah, all that to say, like, that gives me some elasticity about how I think about, well, let's give this person benefit of the doubt. Well, if it turns out there's no benefit of the doubt that should have been ever proffered, then fuck that guy. Like, yeah, like, we're done. We're done here. But if it turns out, by the way, that, and this is what it appears to be right now, maybe, is that this is a lot exaggerated.
Yes.
And like we said the last time we got to record, 4 months ago, that it was really annoying that every time they're seen as in any way provocative, oh no, now we're going to do the gender bending
provocative, yeah,
of like, yeah, now it's Ezra with eyelashes and a dress because they might have been grooming somebody. But then, when we're ready for the Flash film, just looks like, some dude with dark hair and no makeup. Like, it's very much a press-built problem.
Yeah.
Well, I say that. Like I said, the foundations may be sour. But at the moment, the press has done a lot of things. And I am not letting WB off the hook for a lot of this either. Like,
yeah, man. I
don't think Ezra has been given a fair shake at all as far as what... the fourth option I mentioned, like maybe they should have stood by him from the start instead of hedging their bets. And well, now we're $250 million in this movie with all these consequences, and I guess we're gonna have to force an apology out of you and bullshit like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like there's tons of stuff like whenever you see like a negative article, like recently there was like studio insiders say they are unhappy with that the Snyder cut should have never been released because it made the fan base more divisive.
Hell, I've said in this podcast right now, I'm not entirely sure that take is wrong.
It's not.
It's just that I'm willing to accept the consequences and try to incorporate them into future actions.
Right. But my point is, usually when you see something like that, it's for a reason, a very specific reason. Like, what the hell is a studio insider?
Best board grip.
You know what that means? That means Walter Hamada is doing it to further himself in the company, or it means that they had Hollywood Reporter or whoever release it because they're trying to talk to Zack Snyder and get, argue him down on money, or, there's always some kind of agenda.
Yeah.
There's some reason you're seeing the headline. It's not cut and dry. So like they can put that out there and it'll get like 25, asshole dude bros reacting with their laughing emojis on Facebook.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize is like they're doing that to try to like leverage somebody down, and the thing that you're probably happy to think is not going to happen is probably on the verge of happening. Like, and that's why it's coming out.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, there's always so much bullshit. And I'm not saying, this is not like hey, Snyder is coming back. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't either.
I'm just saying.
We have more data than we had, a month ago when we were trying to actually record before delays. And
yeah,
I've still effectively got nothing.
I mean, like we talked about the Hyperion rumor with Henry Cavill. Mm-hmm. For all I know, Henry Cavill's people put that out there to get Warner Brothers to step up and go ahead and do the deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, if he's got to play basically Superman at Marvel, let's go ahead and get him.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and make sure we got him. I mean, all of these
if
things
they don't
are
do
like,
that, we're gonna hop over to The Boys and give Homelander like some real competition.
Right. And I'd watch the shit out of that.
Oh,
but
for God's sake, I would.
you got to understand a lot of these headlines that come out like that. And that's why we don't normally talk about that kind of stuff. Cause it's like so much of it is just horse shit just to get like a deal down, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of false flags out there as far as, putting an idea out there just so somebody else bites. We also have to deal with and generally contend with just scoopers. Just the please get fucked at your earliest convenience and before, if at all possible, scoopers who complicate the situation with a platform that shouldn't be as big as it is, frankly.
Yeah.
You have provided nothing other than aggravating people and providing shit takes to a situation. I don't mean hot or cold takes. I mean shit takes. I mean, it's not hot food. It's not hot food. It's not hot spaghetti. It's not a cold sandwich. It's shite.
All right.
Like it's a real problem though. A real problem in this fan base though, especially at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, anybody can say, well, Cavill's definitely going to come back and get people excited.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't help anything. What does it possibly help? You didn't give anybody hope. Like you didn't, give any respect to that symbol if we're going to be metaphysical and a little overly dramatic about it. Like you didn't do anything good. You did nothing but ruin people's days when you say like, oh, they're going to announce it here. What'd you get, a few likes? They don't. Just to disappoint some people and piss people off? Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, they were going to, but then Emmerich.
Yeah, I hear.
Then Hamada.
Grace, I hear you. Shut the fuck up.
I can't believe you brought her up because I was just thinking about her. And I don't. Did you see that whole bullshit where she was like, she kept saying, in a positive way, like, talk about a Sophie's choice. Like, look at all these great movies that you could choose from for the best movie of the year. Talk about a Sophie's choice.
That's not what that means, first of all. But okay.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, that was the point. And people were bringing up like, dude, what do you think Sophie's choice means? And of course, she just blocks people. You can't really like talk to her about anything or bring up that she's wrong. And then someone responded, yeah, that's a real Schindler's List. It's like Sophie's choice is like she had to choose which of her children went to the gas chamber and which one got sent to a freaking camp. Like, Sophie's choice is not the phrase you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And then like people were bringing up like, oh no, she does this all the time. And they were like, just like posting photos of old tweets where she just keeps using Sophie's choice of those. Is this really great I don't know. Yeah, it's fantastic, but awful. But I was just thinking of old Graceless.
Yeah, and color purple at best.
That's so terrible. Anyway, according to Hollywood Reporter, The Flash is testing as better. It's got the highest scores at test screenings since Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight movies.
That makes me dubious all on its own.
Yeah, that makes me feel like
being that and I think this was our take in general. Really liked Batman Begins, loved Dark Knight, and hate Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, that's about right.
And if you want to go back,
I have less love for Batman
12
Begins
hours worth of reviews. We have them.
Yeah, we do.
4.5, I think, just for that last one.
That's the thing. That's the funniest thing. Is like I will say probably without having listened to them in 7 years, because we did them at the very damn beginning of our show.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
first 20 episodes kind of stuff.
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say, if you look at our review of Man of Steel, my views on that movie have changed drastically. Mm-hmm. If you look at Justice League from 2017, both of our views have changed drastically. Mm-hmm. Or if you listen to our news episodes, the way we handle the news has changed. The way we talk about the news has changed. The way the attitudes we have changed. Aren't we? No, you haven't really changed on those Nolan movies.
Nope.
Like at all.
Nope. First one, super promising. Second one, all the promise was there and delivered. Third one.
Whew. Whole bucket of bullshit.
No, thank you, sir.
So.
And I will
Anywho.
go to court on that matter.
So here's the thing, like Hollywood Reporter put out, and they said like Hollywood Reporter shed light on what almost was, and it was, and the headline, the thing that everyone was screaming, "Oh, screw David Zaslav," is under Hamada and Emmerich, they were planning on doing Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, we already knew this. Remember last year's Fandom when Jim Lee drew all the live action people from the shows and movies in the Crisis George Perez homage? Remember when he said basically that they were going to do Crisis and then they bleeped him out, but we all knew what the hell he was talking about?
Right.
So that's been an old thing. That's an old ass thing. Two, if Jason Momoa is correct, if what he's saying, he wrote the freaking story on, I mean, I have no, he's a producer on Aquaman. I have no reason to believe that he's not correct. If they have multiple Batmen, we have no reason to believe they're not still moving toward Crisis on Infinite Earths. They might just change it a little bit.
Agreed. And then they might just be rerouting where we're supposed to be thinking about those things.
Yeah.
But it does contradict our earlier arguments about like if they're just going to cull everything else that's not related to that, because then they're just rerouting. Mm-hmm. So, why couldn't you have done the $70 million movie? That would have been, I don't know, like 150. I'm just guessing. Well, and then given that, what you said in the quarterly response from Zaz / like you don't necessarily get all of the things if you have to cut from one side to pull the other. Like I want to say it's a zero-sum game, but it's really a $52 million game, I guess it would be. 55 minus the 3.
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what the movie actually looks like. I don't know how much they would have to reshoot. I don't know what their plans are. We don't know anything. And that really is the biggest problem, is like all these people are pissed, but they don't know anything. We don't know anything. There's no reason to be pissed other than there's a Michael Keaton Batman movie that's always going to be out there that I haven't seen, and that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. But that's not enough reason to be pissed.
I mean, granted, and I say this because it's specifically you, if that was the case and there wasn't something else where you could have... basically, if they had told you that Michael Keaton was coming back as Batman and there wasn't somewhere else that you were going to get to revisit that idea in the background, I think you'd be inconsolable.
It's not that I'm not inconsolable. It's just that I'm tired.
There's that. But at least you have to lean on the fact that the Flash is going to have him there. I mean, you've already heard the teasers. Yeah.
I'm curious, like, and plus, like I was saying, like if all this had happened 7 years ago, I would be furious probably. But, I feel like for the past 7 years, we've been in comic book movie federal prison.
Oh, we have. Like, I mean, I remember...
Like, pound me in the ass prison. Whereas like every damn day, if there's one nugget of good news, there's a dude with a shiv and his dick out around the next corner.
Yeah. And you're not sure where either is going.
Right. Or if he's tying the shiv to his dick.
This could go bad.
Yeah. It's all the laundry scene in the Shawshank Redemption. But with movies. So not nearly as drastic. But...
I want to try to upgrade that to American History X as a possibility, but I just... Either way.
I do love Avery Brooks.
Fair enough.
I just watched that movie the other night.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's a good movie, but it always haunts me.
Oh.
I watched it like twice, and I like for 2 weeks afterwards, I gotta refresh my brain. This is a lot to deal with. Mm-hmm. But speaking of, I remember, and had to look at the date. I mean, we're talking about Labor Day 2002 right now, or 2022. Sorry, that was a very different time. I was selling my house a couple of years ago, like 2 years and 3 months ago, probably, if I was guessing. Mm-hmm. Where I was doing some work on a bathroom. My parents, both of them, are extremely adept at home remodeling. That's where I learned anything that I've learned, except some of the rest of my career. But I'm sitting there with my mom trying to cut some tile just the right length and were discussing some things, and just she was asking me about like, well, did I see something about this? I remember we'll call it 2.25 years ago, where I'm sitting there explaining to my mom like, all right, this is going to be a long conversation, but look, short version is going to be like the Michael Keaton universe that you remember is now active again, and having to walk her through what that might mean and how it came to be, where that might leave us. This has been on the books for a minute. Mm-hmm. It just feels like it's taken so much time to sort.
It does. And it should be noted that, so I've got one sister who's a geek, but less so than me. And then another sister who doesn't keep up with any of it. She is as general audience as it gets. I've told both of them about the Michael Keaton thing before any of this Batgirl cancellation shit happened. Mm-hmm. One said, that sounds cool but confusing. And the other one said, that actually just pisses me off. That doesn't make any sense.
It's entirely doable.
I'm not saying it isn't.
And it does bring me back to my point. One of the points I wanted to make a second ago. One, this has been so long now that we've been waiting that I too am a little bit like the corporate right now take is, man, just let's try to find a way to make this work. We're going to figure out what's in the long term. But this movie has been in production for, it feels like 5 years. And I don't mean just in the loop. I mean in the green light, in active production for like 5 fucking years. Mm-hmm. At least 4, I'm guessing, without looking up any dates. I mean, this movie has been pending for, God damn, like there are people who were born and know language now. Like, who know their native language at this point.
That's true.
Can complain about this at this stage.
Yeah, we were talking about a Flash movie, before my nephew was born.
My daughter was not a gleam in my eye. And here we are. And she'll be able to watch this movie with me. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably.
Maybe. By the time it actually comes out.
Well, that's the funny part. If it had come out a year ago, she'd been so young, I'd been like, you're going to watch this movie. I don't care. You won't understand if it does go bad. But
I mean, she watches freaking Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I know, but then even that, we have to go up and down and make sure, some bad dream didn't scare her and sour that for her. Mm-hmm.
So, so we don't know who's taken over as, or who's becoming the new DC Kevin Feige. We know that freaking Zaslav wants one. And there are all sorts of dubious reports out there. Variety says Greg Berlanti, maybe. And we know Greg Berlanti. He did all these CW shows.
He would definitely... I would bring in him and Guggenheim specifically, not to take over the whole universe. That may not be their thing. And they're showrunners, not movies. And I'm not saying there's a difference in any...
Well, remember, Greg Berlanti did the Green Lantern movie.
I know, but
his script was destroyed. It was destroyed by Jeff Johns.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's a qualitative difference, but quantitative here. Like, it's a very different skill set to run TV versus movies. Maybe they don't cross over completely. Like, maybe you don't put them in charge of the movie universes. But if I had to pick 2 guys to consult, if you wanted to actually have a crisis event. Mm-hmm. Grab them and keep them in the room at all times.
I don't want Guggenheim, but Berlanti I'd be okay with. Like, if we're talking about because he also produces Titans and Doom Patrol.
Why not Guggenheim?
I don't like Guggenheim.
Oh, just generally.
Just generally, I'm not a big fan. I just don't like him. I don't like what he's contributed to Arrow.
Artistically,
from what I can tell, yeah, I just don't like him creatively. I don't know him obviously as a person.
Oh, that's all fine. That's all that still fits within what I was trying to suggest. So bear with me. What I mean is Berlanti and Guggenheim, and mostly Googs, pulled off one of the most impressive feats of production television that I've ever seen in my life.
I'll agree with that.
So I would bring him in.
I'm sure there's plenty I like creatively from Guggenheim. It's hard to pin all that down. I would say, Arrow was definitely better when Guggenheim was in charge rather than Beth Schwartz.
Fair enough, but she stuck the landing.
She did. Anyway, I get what you're saying.
In a background basis, I would have those two in the room.
Yeah, they might be, like Feige's talked about, like, it's not just me. There's like a council, there's like 15 people that all sit around and like chart the course.
You should not phrase it that way.
What do you mean?
I mean, not you, not Feige. There's a council. Sorry, I just watched.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just watched
idea.
The Court of Owls episodes of Harley today.
Okay,
it was a very bad image. Just got put in my head.
Gotcha. No, I didn't think about that. But yeah, no, he says there's like 15 people and they like chart the course for the MCU. So like, it's not like, I think that's the thing is like, we don't need a Feige. We need like a council of people who like can come up with some shit. Like,
I mean, agreed, but I wonder what the middle point is. Like,
yeah. And at that point, I wouldn't mind Greg Berlanti and Guggenheim being a part of it.
I'm just saying I would like him in the room because I think they pulled off something special.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd agree with that.
If I was calling somebody and just saying I think this is my pitch, I could boil it down to that. That'd be my elevator pitch at least. But yeah, like Feige, I think he's in the room with 15 people, but I feel like he leaves every meeting saying, "I hear what you're saying. I appreciate everything, and I'll take it into consideration." And then he goes and makes decisions.
Yeah,
because it does have to. This is how humans work. It does have to actually come from a place, especially in a network like that. Like you can't have, and this is maybe what Zaslav was talking about when he talked to everybody and found that like nobody was doing anything because they were too compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Like if everyone's trying something, no one's doing anything. I don't know how many times I've suggested to someone that like, man, hey, this analysis paralysis thing, that's cute. If you try something and fail and try something, fail and do that 4 times, it would have taken you less time to do that than it would have to like try to think about all the possibilities and just do it. Like no consequences or less consequences. It's fine. Just try things. Sometimes you just try things.
Yeah. So if they did put together a council, if I was putting together a council to run DC.
Getting all Doctor Strange 2 on this. I like it.
Yeah, man. The Illuminati. I mean, I think I'd go with your Berlanti and Guggenheim. I'd go with that. But I'd also have Zack Snyder and David Ayer.
I can dig it.
And I feel like, bear with me, Ethan Hawke.
I'm not opposed to it. Based on the interviews I've seen, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
If I read those,
maybe Richard Linklater,
and I didn't see the full interviews, but I read the full paragraph at least of what he said. If I read that correctly, he sat there and said, like, I understand what Scorsese's saying, but also fuck him because this is valid too, and gave a really solid explanation why it was valid too. Like that was well thought out.
I mean, the dude is voicing Batman and Batwheels.
Yeah, I know. And that alone takes
How weird
courage.
Is that? How weird is that? Like this, like independent movie director, documentary movie director. The man's a novelist, and he's like, yes,
but I'll voice
Batwheels.
Gotcha.
I'll voice Batman, not even in a Batman the Animated Series or a Batman movie. Batwheels,
some sidecar, if you will.
Oh, so weird. Anyway, so another name going around for this Feige position is Dan Lin. But everyone's like pretty much like thinking like, oh, well, it's got to be him.
I was wondering your take. I didn't see anything wrong with it outright, but I think his career better than I do.
Well, I mean, he produced it. He produced, Sherlock Holmes and the Lego movies. That's fine. But the biggest problem, I think, is that he's got projects in development at Rideback. He's got a live-action Lilo and Stitch remake at Disney. And he's got a first look deal with the Universal Pictures. And basically, all of that would have to be like severed completely for him to return to DC. And I don't think he's going to do that.
Well, that'll be an issue.
And Emma Watts is a name that's been thrown around. The little blurb I read here says, a veteran of the studio system who has worked at Paramount and 20th Century Fox in the past. She left her post as Paramount's motion picture group president late last year. and was pushed out as Paramount's chairman and CEO. She is hardly a household name to most members of the audience, having spent most of her career in behind-the-scenes jobs, but she did work with Paramount on the Transformers franchise and the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons movie, and with Fox on Avatar, just to name a few. So, I mean, we don't really know her very well, but she's got a little heft to her. She's got a little, a few notches on the old belt as far as franchise work goes.
Yeah. I mean, that's attached to franchises.
It was like, I was in a horrible spiral where nothing I said sounded good.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about a lady, you know?
Well, to backend you.
Yeah, she got some heft. She got a few notches on the belt.
I didn't think about that.
I'm just sitting there going like, no, say a different thing. Damn it, that was worse.
Didn't cross my mind. I was just thinking about the qualifications on the resume part.
She's got a few wrinkles on the old labia. No, Dave.
Yeah, no. I just don't go that way with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would she's attached to a lot of franchises. Fine. Some went well, some didn't. But then here's the fun part about her resume and weeding people out. Like, is that her fault? What didn't go well? I don't know.
I mean, Transformers made money. Avatar made money.
They made money.
They're not things that I give a shit about.
Nope. You are never going to sell me on a franchise that literally called it Obtainium. Get fucked outright.
It's the inium we wish to obtain.
I will never care. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I say this as you know how much I love the color blue.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
I too hated Obtainium, but I also was not going to see it because I hate James Cameron. So
I watched it, and it was as normal as I thought a normal film should be. Like, it was not. I don't know why that was a blockbuster, but given my two comments here, definitely compliments. Hell, I even pierced my lips like I was going to say the P. Given my two comments, someone please let me know if I should reconsider it, but I just don't know how or why.
Oh,
I'm open to it.
Don't listen to him. It's a trap. If you tell him why he should watch Avatar, he will just block you.
No, I really won't. I'll probably respond immediately. Explain yourself.
I'm kidding.
Give me scenes. Send me.
Jason's trying to thin the herd.
Send me gifts.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Then I'll block you.
Alrighty. Then I'll block you. So, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, those release dates were delayed again, like I said earlier.
Oh, wait, 21st, and I think Shazam 2 got to, like, Christmas Eve or some shit.
Oh, no.
Christmas Day.
What was it? Gosh, I should have paid attention better to this article.
Now I'll look it up.
See, Shazam
was
originally...
That was, and now it's on March 17th, 2023.
Yeah, gotcha. March 17th, 2023. And Aquaman is now December 25th, 2023.
Yep.
And David Sandberg, director of Shazam, says, while I'm an impatient bastard who wants people to see it as soon as possible, the film will be fully done in just a few weeks. The move makes sense since Avatar was taking all IMAX PLF screens. Fury of the Gods is a big movie and should be seen big. And hey, it's still 3 months earlier than our first release date. That's a pretty good attitude. Yeah. Once they started saying Avatar, why? Why put out a DC movie around that time? You know it's going to get killed, and then everybody's got to be like, once again, DC can't do the thing, even though they keep making billion-dollar movies. If one doesn't make $1 billion, it's a mess. Yeah. I hate the $1 billion thing. Like, freaking... The first Avengers made $1 billion, and now every movie, every comic book movie has to make $1 billion, or else it's a failure.
Well, I mean, the argument we used for a long time, even on Justice League 2017, and even in BVS, was there's no reason you shouldn't be able to combine these characters and make $1 billion. But then execution failed us, and we were proven very, very historically wrong.
Well, to be fair, we said there should be no way.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's the caveat there is like, but I still believe it's the case. Like if there is enough preamble to it, like it's, putting the ball on a tee. Why can't you hit this? If there's enough there, you just didn't.
God, sorry, I just had like a little flashback to my childhood.
You didn't hit it. I feel like.
Why can't you hit this?
Every time I bring up anything involving a sport of any kind, you're like, "Well, that doesn't apply to me." Okay, I get it.
Well, no, this one applied to me.
But in the opposite direction.
To be fair, the problem wasn't that I couldn't hit it. The problem was I couldn't not hit the T-ball stand.
You don't hit the stand, you hit the ball.
That's what they said. Over and over in an exasperated tone. That was very much like the one you just had.
Ignore the entire stand. Just hit the ball.
Yeah, well, I tried, but I still somehow always knocked the stand over. I was just like, why are you forcing me to use this damn stand? Just throw the ball and I'll hit it. I've never had a problem hitting the ball when you just threw it to me. You bought a T-ball stand. I don't even know why. Let's just play baseball.
That would
Jesus
be an interesting
Christ.
take. It's like, why can you not do the thing when it's just sitting there? Ooh, I'd love to see that in live action. That would be interesting. I don't know what to do with that.
Well, I mean, it was a cheap little T-ball stand, and it was a cheap-ass little T-ball. So, I mean, like, both of them were, like, as flimsy as a damn, paper bag or a plastic bag you get from Walmart. So you go and you put any kind of, like, force on it, on hitting that ball, you're gonna in some way knock the stand over, man. Doesn't that make sense?
Kind of.
I mean, I don't know that I was actually hitting the stand.
No, you probably were to do that.
I don't know.
Scoffing. I've hit the stand a few times too and knocked that thing over. I get it.
I mean, I just couldn't understand. I was like, you do the T-ball for kids who can't hit the damn ball when it's thrown to them. I have never had that issue. Why would you buy me a T-ball stand?
Oh, yeah, that's like 1 year. And then, yeah.
Like, why are we talking about T-balls? Like, we have baseballs. We have softballs. Pick one of those.
We can have the softball. Also, you probably couldn't hit out of the yard for that one.
Oh yeah, no, I hit that shit out of the yard for sure. Like, that's probably why they did the T-ball, is because they were scared because I was breaking shit.
You were a big boy.
Yeah. Anyway, Black Canary still in the Black Canary movie with Journey Smollett and Misha Green still in development. So we're not losing that so far.
I haven't heard otherwise, at least.
Blue Beetle still on track, still happening. Still on track for 2023 release. Probably going to be 2024, honestly, but we got a lot of bullshit about Batman 2 still not greenlit. Well, no, I mean, he's working on the script. They haven't greenlit the script, so that's the headline issue. In fact, Matt Reeves actually signed a new deal with Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. It's an overall deal. Deadline reported it. So, yep. That's still going. Don't be fooled.
Yeah.
See, I
don't think he's going anywhere.
Before I basically quit social media for several weeks, I was seeing a lot of Snyder fans laughing that it wasn't greenlit. And I was just like, oh, God. Y'all are delusional.
Right this moment, greenlit means nothing. Not in a transition as we're in. It will eventually. Don't get me wrong. That phrase.
Yeah.
The phrase means something. It just takes time.
It's happening though. Mm-hmm. They just signed another deal with them.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
We got that little teaser for Joker Folly Ado. And that was just basically them dancing in front of a thing. Silhouettes, black silhouettes dancing in front of a red screen. I didn't give a shit about it. It was fine. If I'm being honest, I don't care about this movie. I liked the first one all right. I'm curious. Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn. That's cool. I'll see it.
I'm into both pretty deeply. I don't know. This is one of the moments where I'm like, I think we're both going to be really excited the week before, but right now, it's like 2 years from now.
Yeah, it's like 2 years from now. Been a lot of the talk about like Batgirl was axed, but Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix are getting 20 million, and Lady Gaga's getting 10 million for Joker. Yeah, they're going to, because it's the sequel to a $1 billion movie,
and Lady Gaga is probably going to write most of the songs. So
yeah, and let's not even like forget that studios have like formulas. They put in like the star, and they can put in like who the director is and who the writer is and what genre and all this bullshit, and they go like, it's projected to make this amount. Now Joker, the first one, was a runaway hit. No one knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't believe in it. The algorithm failed them. Their
little formula,
formula failed them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but now they have like a working model. They're like, okay, well, that's changed. The formula has now changed, because whenever there's something crazy that happens, like the first Joker movie, the formula changes a little bit. So they can, pretty much go, okay, well, I'm going to green light the Joker sequel. We're going to pay for all of it so we can get all the money. And, and yeah, we're going to pay him all this money because damn it, man. But, that has nothing to do with Batgirl at all.
Yeah.
Like, you nothing. The formula that they have still says Batgirl is not going to make that much money. So, just move on from that.
Yeah, and that formula got, I don't know, less important as people realized there were new avenues. But if they're actually incorporating that, even if they're doing it in a way that they're just taking the suggestion, from the computer and saying, like, I hear what you're saying, I'll take that into account.
Hello, computer.
What if it was that? What if it was like, I can't do that, Hal, and that's why we don't get Batgirl?
Yeah. Oddly, I'd feel better. I think. Like, I think if it was like that, I would be like, you know what? We can't just blame the evil computer, the big corporation, because it's like just an evil sentient computer, and I would be more willing to just like shit on WBD as an entity, rather than just like, people are sending death threats to David Zaslav, and that I'm not cool with that.
Yeah. Well, but what if he did the face reveal kind of thing, and this became like almost a Frisky Dingo kind of situation, where robot in charge kind of thing, and like it. Your subscription to HBO Max was like 24 size D batteries a month. Do not fall short of your contribution, sir.
Yeah. That's exactly what I need. I need I need WB to be Landrew.
Yeah.
From Return of the Archons. Just it's like, okay, we don't need batteries, but there will be a purge every week. Oh, Christ.
It's a simple equation. More power, less people. What do you want to do? This one's easier.
Oh, God.
I'm hearing that in Jason Alexander's voice because I watched Harley Quinn recently.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, apparently they're trying to bring back Zazie Beetz for Joker 2. I'm down for that. I like Zazie Beetz quite a bit. I'm very excited about Atlanta's final season coming out in a few days.
I'm mostly excited about seeing, like, of all the speculation, where she may rest in that. Because her character may or may not exist depending on your interpretation of the film.
Well, it sounds like some interpretations are going to get weeded out. And I'm fine with that.
I'm good with it. Well, that's the fun part of stories, though, right?
Yeah, man.
You think about it for a while, and then...
And there'll be plenty of people who are like, well, because of the musical nature of Joker 2...
None of this can be trusted? Fuck you.
None of this is true. This is all in his head.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. Every time the camera was below his waist, we couldn't trust it before. What do you want from me?
To the shock of apparently several people. I didn't think it would be, but whatever.
7 to 8 people. Gotcha.
DC Fandom was canceled this year. They said, with the return of in-person events, Warner Brothers Discovery is excited to be able to engage with our fans live at numerous Comic-Cons around the world and will not be scheduling DC Fandom for 2022. That's fine. Look, you know what I would love is, like, with all this talk of quality, I would love it if this was just Zaslav. He just looked at the fandoms and was like, why are you guys standing on a green screen? This looks like shit. Oh my God, this is awful. We have got to protect the DC brand. Mm-hmm. Damn it. What are you doing? Like, this has been shitty.
Well, me and you were joking about this yesterday, and my thought was, like, dude, you could have accomplished a lot of what happened. Bear in mind, I enjoyed a lot of what happened, but if we're talking about real money here, you could have accomplished a lot of what happened by just uploading that shit to YouTube for $0.
Yeah.
Just pull the trailers up, send them on their way.
Yeah. You don't have to hire people from all over the world to, do long-winded, strangely joking the introductions I would have given what the hell?
For free, I would have loved to have rewritten some of the copy for that process. But, I mean, even in year 1, year 2 of fandom, dear God, I can't believe we're worrying about it. But year 1 was like so ambitious that you couldn't actually physically do everything that was being offered to you.
Yeah.
Before the window closed. Yeah. Even if you stayed up for all 24 hours because it was 8 hours and it looped. Well, that's great. But, like, I tried to do the DC, like, Joker Funhouse thing, and I can only sign on for a certain period of time. And it, like, there were flaws. It was a technical problem in some ways, but it mostly was just, there is so much to consume here. There's no point. Like, why would you, from one standpoint, from their standpoint, I would think, what is the point of having so much content that you put so much money into if they can't consume it all? You're literally throwing money away at that point. You're bleeding. So year 2, you come back and it's like, what was it, 4 or 8 hours? I want to say 4.
It was something relatively small by comparison.
But it was basically a PowerPoint presentation of, here's what we have to offer. Well, that's fine, but you could have just uploaded that to YouTube.
Yeah, no harm, no point. Like, the vast majority of the things that were ever available on Fandom, I was sitting there going, just put it on your DC Comics YouTube, but the Warner Brothers YouTube, I don't understand.
Oh, like 2 hours later, available. Same as it was ever before, back when everything happened in Hall H. 2 hours later, you're watching the Wonder Woman.
You said that shit like Wentworth Miller.
Don't know.
You said, back when everything happened in Hall H. Make the plan. Forget the plan.
I'm going to leave it to your interpretation and not try to reproduce that, because it'll be terrible.
Just put 2 in the back of her head and call it a day.
Well, I'll put it this way. I tend to just sound like a terrible penguin when I try to do him.
I mean, we all do. Mm-hmm. And by comparison to the first season of The Flash, he does too.
Look, man, he chose a thing and he stuck with that thing.
He chose a thing and he leaned into it hard over the course of the years. So much so that, like, or maybe he just became more himself, because I've seen him in interviews and I'm just like going, oh God, he's just that. Yeah. That's what he does.
Just fine. Articulates variables.
I like that guy.
Syllables mean things.
He's like, damn it, I'm going to be the next walk-in.
No, you're missing like 16 syllables in that sentence to be the next walk-in.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's got to do his own version of it.
Yeah.
All right.
He was the king of vocal fry, though, for sure.
No one beats Grant Gustin. Grant Gustin's whole thing is just vocal fry.
Okay, no. He has a growly voice, but Grant Gustin's thing is always going to be the head shake. Like, that's...
Oh, no. Yeah, he's got the head bobble.
The head bobble is...
He's got that.
A distinguishing feature. Like, I could show you in shadow form someone with roughly that triangle face and that little roughed up hair that's about 1.5 inches high and way too fucking formulated for anything he has time for in the day or Friction could deal with, by the way. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the cow, but these are all the same kind of considerations that we we all overlook every time we deal with these characters, so don't take that personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I showed you that head bobble on a shadow, infrared cam, in the middle of the woods, Dexter style, last season. But yeah, you would know who it was.
Yeah, pretty much.
That little triangle chilling.
Yeah.
Wobbity, 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 wobbity. Iris, I love you. Wobbity, wobbity.
This might be a good time to take a quick break. When we return, we are talking about Peacemaker, The Flash's final season announcement, Sandman, Penguin, Harley Quinn, and that awful Pennyworth title change.
Fair enough.
And we're back. I always like those old timey announcer voices.
That sounded like that, but for a Halloween episode.
Yeah. But it was like the dude from
Where's back? Like,
nah, I was going for like what it reminded me of. I actually wasn't going for anything, but what it actually wound up reminding me of was the news guy from Laugh-In.
Oh, I don't remember that title, but fuck if I remember what that did.
What?
I remember the title, but fuck, I don't remember anything else.
That wasn't even a sentence. Oh my gosh. That was a weird sentence, man. It was confusing to me. Anyway.
It was.
Yeah, everybody was really worried about Peacemaker because of Batgirl. And James Gunn assured us that season 2 is safe amid the Warner Brothers cuts.
Which makes sense given the final scene.
Yeah. He says, no need to be worried on behalf of Peacemaker. Our friend will still be making lots of peace in season 2. We found out Peacemaker will begin filming in 2023. Again, from James Gunn. In fact, season 2 and multiple.
It almost sounds like someone can tell him later, like, he shot a lot of people. He did what?
Yeah. Multiple James Gunn projects are reportedly moving forward at DC. So
they did great, and I loved them. So
yeah,
even in the context of what's happening now, what do you want to tell you? Outside of the context, if you told me that, I'd be excited as well.
Absolutely. The Batman spinoff, Penguin, moving forward, is happening.
It's kind of the curious note in general with that whole philosophy is that the Batman is still hanging around, and Joker. I don't know. Not sure entirely what to do with that given the context, but we need more time.
Yep. Zaslav said, quality is what matters. Quality is what Casey Bloys, HBO Max chief content officer, and that team is delivering. It's the best team in the business. We're doubling down on that HBO team. They're all committed under contract, and we're going... I love that. They're all committed under contract. It's a weird flex, but okay. And we're going to spend dramatically more this year and next year than we spent last year and the year before.
Yeah.
He also says there was some buzz today about HBO Max that we're going to start doing less series, and our strategy is to embrace, support, and then drive the incredible success that HBO Max is having. It's really to the culture and the taste of Casey and the team, and the fact that they are not only that they not only read the scripts, but they fight with all the creatives to make the content and storytelling as strong as possible. It's a very strong, unique moment. We think it's an extraordinary asset, blah, blah, blah. I know that James Gunn says, like, no, I can do whatever. So, like, the fighting, we fight with our creatives to make sure we get the best content. And I feel like Gunn is over there silently going, nope. I'm James Gunn.
Yeah, he can bounce anytime.
I'm James Gunn, and it turned out I didn't diddle a 3-year-old.
Yeah, it was never even really on the table.
Power restored.
What does crack me up about James Gunn, if he wants to get, I don't know, too uppity in his negotiations, is like, okay, that's fine. But then you just go back to Marvel, where you're making that umbrella worth of movie. And if that doesn't work out, you got to go back to making your own movies, which are just harder to do. It's not that you can't do it. You obviously can.
It's like, damn it, I want to be at Marvel where I can make fun family movies, and then I want to be at DC where I can make dirty adult TV shows.
And it is what it is. He'll have to play along with either and both to get Either or both.
I mean, not to actually just make a James Gunn tweet right now, but hey, I'm in the corner jerking off either way.
Oh, we'll be fine.
Just like, I'm like, yay, splooge, splooge, splooge.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We're gonna enjoy it.
Oh man, that landed on a comic book. Damn it.
Which one? Suicide Squad. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, if it was like it would be a Sandman dollhouse right now.
Right,
but that's what's out, you know. that's what's present outside of his box set in the office at the moment.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, the Arkham Asylum spinoff series is still being developed. So everyone could, I don't know, calm down or be angry or I don't even know. However you feel about it. I'm down for it all. Whatever Matt Reeves wants to do, I'm down. You know what? I'm sitting over here. I'm looking behind me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I got like this 12-inch McFarlane red and black the Batman statue from the Matt Reeves movie. I got let's see, 9 the Batman action figures from McFarlane. I've got the Bat Cycle here. I got 2 Batmobiles from that movie. I think I'm good. I think I'm pleased with it.
Would you get like a James Gunn or Billy Bob Thornton with yellow teeth action figure? Or
I would.
I'd take either.
Now, see, that pisses me off. That's a good point. Why is McFarlane not making Harley Quinn animated series figures?
Fuck if I don't know. Too sexy even like for him is my only guess.
That seems obvious. And no, nothing's too sexy for the Todd.
I know yeah, he has not balked. Not one butt clench from Dr. Psycho would have bothered him.
No. The Todd father knows all.
Yeah.
Controls all.
Yeah.
Wields all.
No.
Which also pisses me off because
No, that's how they are. Sexy is what it is. We're going to make this for him. Gotcha.
Speaking of which, I need McFarlane Toys the Sandman.
I could do that.
We're over here with this hit Netflix show that apparently isn't a big enough hit that Netflix is willing to, say that season 2 is a given. But
They're just short of it. And bless Neil Gaiman for all the inside information about how they think about things.
I know, but we're looking at 300 million hours watched on this thing.
And metaphorically, it's not too far from my point. I would absolutely buy, especially for Christmas, a Sandman snow globe with Dream in there. Instead of snowflakes, it's little ravens.
Yeah, I found I found out that there was apparently an old library poster. You know those library posters? I love those where they have like characters that say something about reading.
Yeah.
I found a Sandman library poster that in the quote was written by Neil Gaiman, but it's a dream in the dreaming, and he's in his little library or his giant library, and there are books flying around, swirling out of this giant book that he's holding open. And it says, a book is a dream that you hold in your hands. Had to have it.
That's gorgeous.
Had to have it. Couldn't find it. No one had it for sale anywhere.
Just gorgeous.
But I have it on my wall now. Yeah. So if you'd like that, to print it off at a Staples or something.
I felt like that was the kind of stuff they used to put, on the walls in the library. And I'm imagining my middle school library right now. Like that would come up a couple weeks before the book fair, where you're supposed to come in and spend some inordinate amount of money at absolute list price to get a few books and head home. Because apparently those aren't available anywhere else.
Yeah.
I hope there are kids at this point, if there are still book fairs, and I don't know. I don't have a kid that's that old yet, and I don't have relatives that I keep up with in that detailed capacity enough to know. But I would love to see some kid go to the book fair and write down some titles. I'm sorry, man. This is like $25.99. I can get this for $12 on Amazon right now. Thanks though, and just go to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I remember even being like at the book fairs when I was in school, you know, and I would see like the books, and I didn't know what books cost, but my parents were, you know, like, this is ridiculous. Like the way they acted, it was like the price might as well have just been good Christ, you know, like
it was
like,
it was
you're
insane.
not getting that. You're not getting that. Like, okay.
No, they
it had Batman on the cover. That's all I cared about.
Yeah. It was a weird middle ground though. We're like, oh, I'm glad you want to read. Also, that's like twice what I would pay for it if I just bought it for you somewhere.
Yeah.
And the school has a library. We happen to be in the library. I can see that book over there with the catalog number on it. You could rent that right now for nothing. And if it's not available, by the way, we also have a public library for the city.
Oh, yeah, no, my parents weren't going anywhere. Like, they would send a catalog home for us to order the book fair. There was no book fair. It was just a catalog.
Oh, ours did a whole setup where they like usurped the whole rows in the actual library at school.
Well,
and by library, I do mean a relatively small environment, but still, there were a lot of books there. And you would just install fake shelves and put up these shiny pretty books. And they were all worth, like, I don't know, twice what they're worth, minimally.
Yeah, I feel like there may have been an actual, like, physical book fair at the public school where I went for the first couple of grades. But then once I started going to the private Christian school, it was a catalog. And most of the books in there were, like, you know, books about Christing.
Yeah, it would have been The Shack at some point.
The Shack did not come out until much later.
You know damn well those behind you were subjected to that.
Maybe. Well, I mean, by the time the Shack came out, I think everybody already had Amazon, so I don't think the book fair was probably a thing. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know. What do you like? I know you have a kid, but you don't know yet. But so. You listener out there, what do you think? Do you have a child? Do you have the book fairs? Do you pay a lot of money for the book fairs? Do you tell your kid no because of all the money at the book fair? Do you look at the price and say, good Christ? Tell me. Let us know. Write in dconscreen@gmail.com, at dconscreen on Twitter. Let us know how your book fair be faring.
Oh, it's not going to be good.
That was a weird thing.
It's going to be bad.
Why? Why?
I just assume that part's evolved in the case of it. That
Public schools no longer have book fairs. They have TikTok fairs.
Yeah,
where everybody just sort of gets together and tries to make like one really viral video.
That's a whole different procedure.
Yeah,
it happens at 3:30. Instead of 11:30.
Yeah, and then the teachers have their own separate. I swear, I'm not touching the children fair.
I just assume at this point that most teachers are day drinking in their mugs, and you know, whatever you have to do to get through. That's where we are at this stage of the educational system. If you're still there and teaching things and they're correct, and you started like sipping wine out of your air quotes coffee out of that best teacher mug at 9:30 in the morning,
you do not have to teach the correct things to be a teacher and keep your job. I remember we had a teacher that taught us. Well, again, this was the Christian school, but I don't know how this makes any difference in this situation. But they were very certain, despite all the kids in the class going, "No, you're wrong." They were very certain that there was more land than ocean on Earth.
That hurts me.
That
hurts me.
So, I mean, That's one example.
I heard a joke earlier also about someone's kid being told that they were told the dinosaurs didn't exist anymore because they didn't have a religion. And one part of me thought that must be absurdist humor of some kind. And the other part thought, we're in Birmingham, Alabama. I wouldn't be surprised if my daughter came back and told me that at some point. No matter where she stays during the day.
Let me tell you this, okay? Many years ago, and I wish I knew how this guy was doing, because he was a nice guy. Mm-hmm. But he had an accident, I think. He said he had. But he he said he promised it didn't impair what he was thinking, which I don't trust. He used to hang out at this guy named Craig. He used to hang out at the Barnes and Noble in Montgomery, Alabama. And he would play chess with me and my friend Jeremy. But he also had a very a well-leafed copy of the Bible, and every line was underlined several times. He started tearing holes in the pages, underlining things in ballpoint pen, and he would say stuff like, these are quotes, okay? I'm not exaggerating. Well, you know what happened to the dinosaurs, right? Well, I mean, the dinosaurs were the first Christians, but then they turned their back on God, and they started being like these girls out here today, wearing their shirts, wearing shirts tight and tighter than that. That's what happened to them. That's what happened to them.
They had clothes.
Yeah. And then he would go off on things like
clothes and social morals.
The moon was an artificial satellite. The moon is an artificial satellite. He believed that as well. He would just say all sorts of weird shit like that. But it was his thing was the dinosaurs had religion. They were the first Christians, but then they turned their back on God.
Dear Christ.
In favor of tight clothes. Yeah. And
God. I mean, that leather was pretty tight on most of the dinosaurs, mostly because it was their skin.
I remember asking him was there did Christ come before as a dinosaur? How were they Christians? He never answered me on that. He just kind of kept saying weird stuff. But we saw him, we hung out with him all the time. We'd go up there and get our Starbucks and play chess and talk to Craig.
I feel like your story ends with, and this is beautiful. I feel like your story ends later with we found him 3.5 years later, outside a bingo parlor in the dumpster. I didn't recognize him. Time had taken a toll, and at this point, he tripped over his beard.
Yeah,
but he sounded the same.
Yeah. Well,
I asked him, how do you sound the same? I've had nothing but ice and tuna for the last 5 years. Great. It's very good shape, I guess.
I'll tell you the real ending to the story, but it's a bummer.
Oh. Died of stupidity.
No. Sadly, he actually was in a car accident, and
goddamn.
He had brain surgery. His wife left him, and because he was having mental problems since the accident, she wouldn't let him see their son. And that's why he liked talking to us so much, because he told us that we were like his sons. That's the real. Oh, and one of the last times we saw him, we basically closed the Barnes and Noble down with him and threw the old pigskin around the parking lot. I laugh, but it is depressing, isn't it? He was a really nice guy.
No, you've gotten into actual brain damage now.
Yeah. He swore it was his thought processes on religion were not due to, or the artificial moon or whatever. He claims it wasn't, but I don't believe him. But we would tell him that. We were like, dude, come on, that's your accident. And he's like, no, it's not. I'm like, dude, come on. But hell, I don't know. Maybe he's out there listening. Craig, if you're out there, let me know.
I don't even know where to start anymore.
Well, like shortly after, like they actually literally closed Barnes and Noble, and we just never saw him again.
No, I'm sure.
He didn't have a cell phone. He was scared of them.
Of course. Okay.
I don't know, man. What do you want from me? Anyway, yeah, that got depressing.
I feel like we need to contact this guy.
I know.
Work it out with him.
I mean, it's been like 2004 since I've talked to him. He was in really good shape, though. Like his freaking calves, dude.
Yeah, if you're jumping around from conclusion to conclusion the entire time.
He also worked out a lot. Anyway. Yeah, man. Let's see. So yeah, Sandman, like I was saying, has been topping the daily charts. It pulled in like 1 billion minutes viewed across their 10 episode season, and now they released an 11th episode. There was a secret 11th episode that they dropped, and Sandman went back, like had dropped to number 3 and then went back to number 1. Like I don't know how to tell you to tell you to watch this thing. Just watch it. Please, for the love of God, watch the damn thing. It's so good. I am loving the show in many ways. I feel like the show improved upon the books.
Yep.
Because it feels like,
and by the way, if you haven't watched
quite
the
literally
show
Neil
because
Gaiman,
you didn't have time, I suggest you throw away your cats just to make sure you have time to watch this show. Just the adjacent episodes.
Yeah. But yeah, the show is literally like Neil Gaiman looking back at something he wrote 30 years ago and like killing his darlings and just making it better.
Mm-hmm.
It's that damn good. Yeah. I'm sorry. It just is.
That cat's okay.
So there was something, a bunch of people have been saying that they wanted to see a Johanna Constantine spinoff, and Neil Gaiman reassured one fan, "You are not alone in this thought." So, hello, howdy, what's happening? Mm-hmm. And by the way, J.J. Abrams' Constantine series gets got a bit of an update. Is apparently is quote unquote on solid ground and moving along. I did read a bit where like Zaslav was pissed that J.J. Abrams hasn't done anything really since that they signed that overall deal with him. Like, you developed an animated series. Okay. That's nothing.
He's okay.
Huh?
No, I'm not disagreeing, but he's been there for 2 years.
Yeah, he's not done anything really.
My only objection is I don't think that's maybe his fault.
Maybe not.
I would keep him on staff. Actually, you know what? Our earlier discussion about who you keep on staff, maybe keep him around for a second.
Yeah, I'd let JJ go.
I'd keep him around for a second.
Okay, good for you. I wouldn't.
I'm not saying anyone at the table has to stay. It's our table.
All right, Wentworth.
It's our table, sir.
Yeah. La. Oh, this is hey, Harley Quinn renewed for season 4 by HBO Max.
Yep.
How you doing? And Patrick Shoemaker says, coming sooner than you think. I don't know what the hell that means, but I'm happy about it. I did me some Harley Quinn.
Fair enough. Sooner the better.
We don't know about the fate of Titans and Doom Patrol. We have no idea.
Yep.
One week we'll hear like there will be a report like saying like they're doomed, and then the next week, like, that same article will be like, we've amended our previous article saying that we don't know. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And now this week they are saying like, yeah, it's looking like it will probably be renewed. Oh, cool.
Yep.
I'm down for Doom Patrol anyway. Titans can go away. I don't care about that.
No,
like,
I want both. I actually really.
I'd be fine with both. Like, Titans is great every year until the last episode, I feel like. And then it bumps me out.
Yeah, but that's its own kind of sticking and landing if you think about it. But
I guess you're right. Stephen King does the same thing, but I still want Stephen King novels.
Maybe actually why I don't like him.
Well, then we're at an impasse.
Sir! Good day.
The HBO Max canceled Batman Caped Crusader from Bruce Timm and J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, saw that.
However, streaming services are chomping at the bit to get it, though. Apple, Hulu, Netflix, and others have expressed intense interest in taking the project. Kind of feels like a strategy from Zaslav, doesn't it?
Sell it? Yeah.
Yeah, they can get a lot of money for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much money NBC made the entire time House was airing, just for doing nothing other than owning it.
Yeah. Yep. This is sad. Jordan Elsass, the guy that plays John Kent on Superman and Lois, he's gone. He's not returning. He didn't show up on set, and then let them know that he was not going to be returning for personal reasons. So they're going to recast Jonathan Kent.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sad to me. I like that kid. And Superman and Lois has cast the Orville star Chad L. Coleman as a major villain for season 3 of the series. I don't know the Orville. I don't watch it. All right. Did you see this awful Pennyworth title change?
I just felt like they got more to the point.
I mean, it used to be called Pennyworth, and now it's called Pennyworth.
Sure.
The origin of Batman's butler.
Pennyworth, thing we knew. Pennyworth, thing we're saying now.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
It's like, we had to make sure we got the keyword Batman in there.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm sure everybody will still call it Pennyworth. And we'll just ignore it. Like I have been while it was called Pennyworth. HBO Max confirmed to cancel that DC series Strange Adventures from Greg Berlanti, which I'm surprised they were even really talking about it. It seemed cool. Anthology series. Lots of different creators coming in, doing like Twilight Zone in the DC universe. Yes, that sounds awesome. Sounds amazing. Kevin Smith's episode sounded fun. Nick Cage as Bizarro, you know. That's what he was doing.
That does sound wonderful.
Yeah, but I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
But that new Superman series is apparently still set for Cartoon Network. The animated one, the My Adventures with Superman, that one's apparently still on the slate. So, guess what, man?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Oh, holy shit.
We're through it. We're done. Can you believe it?
Hardly, given the last month. But, you know, I guess it had to happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I feel brand new, man. Like a weight has been lifted. Like I could just go out and shit on somebody's chest and it'd be all right.
Oh, that's weird, because I feel like you just got this all off your chest.
Well, I got it off my chest, but it went into my intestine. And then it got on somebody else's chest.
Yeah, just don't need to go cleaning semen somebody just because you didn't get to record for a while.
I don't know.
That's not fair.
I just say weird. I just say weird shit. Don't you know me by now?
Oh, I do indeed. And yet you still.
I have a very niche audience, and the audience is not even you. The audience is my wife, and the point is not to make her happy. The point is to make her go, "Aw, dude," while she's listening to me in the bathroom, while she's taking a shower or something. Like I will be like, I can hear she's playing DC on screen. So I guess in a way it is for me, but because I enjoy hearing her be disgusted at whatever the hell kind of weird shit I had to say.
Right. Naturally.
But I even enjoy it more when she laughs at the weird, disgusting shit I say. So anyway, we're looking at a 3-hour podcast, so I'm going to wrap it. Thank you so much for listening to DC on Screen.
Yep.
You could find every episode, all things being equal, you can find every episode at dconscreen.com. You can contact us over on Twitter at dconscreen, or you can email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. And God, man, hopefully we can get back on a really regular schedule of having these conversations. I'd really love to do like an in-depth Sandman review somewhat soon, season 1. But anyway.
Yep. That's being worked on, though.
Until next time, y'all. Keep that DC on y'all screen.
Which will be hard.
Because there's no DC to...
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.